color correction is very vast within itself. The way we know is a common color space transform, where you convert the color space of your camera to the color space of your output, which is in most cases is Rec 709 or sRGB. And then we do the exposure balance, the white balance, little curves. But do you know there is a more advanced way to actually learn how to color correct with more accurate color correction? The way we do it is through a color chart. And a color chart has each and every single color. It has different exposure charts, and we're going to learn how to more accurately color correct our footage and compare that to our regular color correction. And also I have a full-blown color correction and color grading tutorials and a whole class on Skillshare. So if you want to learn more on that, and if you want to learn the entire DaVinci Resolve workflow with edit, VFX, and motion graphics, all of it is available on Skillshare. It is one of the biggest platforms which is currently there in the world. Over 12 million people, 12 million students are learning. You'll not only have access to me, but access to 1,000 other creators there. So use my referral link below and you'll get 1 month free access of Skillshare and all of my courses immediately. All right, take care. And if you want customized one-on-ones, I will also provide links where you can schedule a call with me for 30 minutes or an hour, where I will critique your work or do whatever you want in terms of project viewing, in terms of helping you out on the software. So let's dive into DaVinci Resolve right now. All right, so we have a footage which is over here where I'm holding a color chart, and you can see I'm holding a color chart and I just drop it over here, and then we have this footage. So let's go to our color page. Usually what we do is first let me remove it from a proxy. So the way to do that is you go over here and you prefer the camera originals. There you go. Now we are in HQ mode. So basically the way we do it, firstly we take a color space transform, we kind of drag it here, then we go to our input color space, we choose this was shot in S-Gamma3 Cine, this was shot in S-Log2, and output color space and output gamma is the same because those are my settings. All right, and then we add a node before, and then over here we do a little bit lift gamma gain, lift gamma gain, just overall exposure, checking to see whether everything is just overall just balancing out and making sure these waveforms are proper. That's usually the way we do it. So let's just input these, we'll call it CST, and we'll call this primaries. All right, so now this is usually the way we actually kind of color manage. Now what we are going to do is we're going to use this chart. So if I go over here to this specific area, which is this marker, let me just see if I'm at my marker. Yeah, I'm at my marker. Let me just turn these off again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new version. All right, and what I'll do is I'll reset everything, reset all grades and nodes. So now we have one node. So what we're going to be doing is now we're going to use this chart to do the exposure, to do the balancing, and also to do the proper skin tone and also the colors. So let's go and let me teach you how to do this. So we have several nodes over here. We do not need to convert it, and we do not need to do any type of color space transform. So the first one, we will call this white balance. Then the next one, we will call it as the color chart. And after that, what we will do is we will add another serial node. We will call this hues. We'll add a parallel node. We'll call it skin tone. Skin, and we'll just add actually one more before. Let's take this and add another one here. Take another one. Take this. And we'll call this exposure. And there you go. I think this is good for now. So let's start. So in white balance, what you do in a color chart is, let me just turn this clips off so we have more working space. So I'm going to zoom in over here a little bit. And you see this white? This is plain white. I take this white thing, I grab it, and I color it. And I just drag and drop basically. So now if you see, if I turn off this node, very minor difference because the white balance was set properly, so it doesn't need much balancing. Now the next one is we're gonna do is the color chart. All right, so to do that we have this particular option here, which is the color match, and what I will choose is the right color checker that I have, which is this color checker passport video. I choose that so I can just see the colors are matching. Now I will select here, I will select the color chart. So now we see a bunch of boxes. So what we will do is I will go here and align these boxes exactly as they're supposed to be with the markers, and make sure each of these boxes are present in each of these color boxes of the chart. So if you see here, I was going to put, they have these markers given on the chart. There you go. So we have these marked in completely. I'm just going to make sure this is the X-Right color checker passport video. I'll just double checking to see whether everything's correct. Alright, so now we find the source gamma, which is slog2. The target gamma, I want it to be 2.4. Target color space, I want it to be rec 709. So as soon as you have these settings done, all you need to do is you need to hit match, and look at this. Boom. Now immediately with the color chart we see that all of the colors are exactly matching to how it was supposed to be. So initially, without just a simple color chart, this is how the difference between the version 1 and version 2 is. Let's take a look. This is the color space transform, and this is with the color chart. Color space transform, color chart. So you see it's a huge difference. It's more accurate, and it actually does a much better job. All right, now we go to exposure. Let's go back to the marker again. Now for the exposure, what we're going to do is we're going to add a window, which is this mask. I am going to draw a mask here, 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 and right here, and I'll turn on the highlight. And what I will do is I'll take a look at the waveform, which is the scopes, and what I will do is I will take a look at to see where each of these is. So the white part, the white portion over here, this is the highlights, this is the midtones, and this is the shadows. So we'll do a little bit LGG, which is lift gamma gain. So we'll go here. What I'll do is I'll decrease this one right here. I'll decrease the gamma just a wee bit to make sure it's in the center point around here, and I'll take the gain and I'll reduce it down like that, maybe like here, and take the gamma up to the center point, and the lift we keep it as like maybe just lift it up a little bit or put it down. Yeah, so I'm just making sure the gain is somewhere here, the gamma is somewhere here, and the lift is somewhere here. So gamma, this is basically where all the exposure of the skin lies. So I'm just keeping it here. And now what I'll do is I'll turn off the highlights and I'll turn off this window. So now if you see, if I turn off the node, turn on the node, so if you see, if I do full screen, and this is what the proper exposure balance does. Now obviously you can change it later based on your look in your film, but you want to correct it properly. So if you see before the node, this is how it used to look. Look at how overexposed my skin was here, And now after this correct exposure balancing, look at how I recovered all of the detail of the skin, like right here. Take a look at the hat, right here. Look, this was before, now it's after. Before, after. See how blown out it was? Same thing over here. See, after, before, after. All right. Now, let's compare with the previous version and this version. Let's do. Look at that. So you see with the color space transform, even though I'm putting the right color space and the right gamma, there's still so much like unnecessary contrasty look, film look, which I just want a simple conversion. So you can see that how much more accurate this color chart actually is. Now what we'll do is now we'll go to the hues, which is the colors. We'll go back to this frame, and what we will do this time is we will take another mask over here, and we're going to just take these main hues that exist and just take a mask right here, just drag it around here, making sure it encompasses every single color, and turn on the highlight. And now what we will do is open the vector scope. Vector scope opened. We will make it a 2x zoom, and now look at that. Perfect. So now you see each and every single one of these colors, which is red, yellow, green, cyan, blue, and magenta. Our goal is to make sure that each of these dots line up inside this box. That is why these boxes are there, guys. It is for color charts so that we can color correct it properly. All right. Now the way we're going to be doing it is we're going to be doing it through the curves, which is hue versus hue. What hue versus hue does, it makes sure the color is more accurate. And the second what we're going to be doing is the hue versus saturation to make sure the saturation level of each color is correct. So let's go hue versus hue. Let's choose red. And what I'll make sure is, think of it like this. Red is going to be the dial of the color, right? So moving it up and down. Right there. Perfect. It is there and proper. Then we do yellow. Alright, there you go. Yellow. Then we do green. Look how off green was. Putting it more towards the box. Then we do cyan. We have cyan there. Then we have blue. Look at how off blue was as well. Blue. And magenta is mostly, I think. Yeah, I'm like eyeballing it, but yeah, magentas I think is good. All right, now we go to the next one, which is hue versus saturation. So now in this saturation, we have to make sure that these dots are inside the box. All right. Now take the red, make sure it's inside the box. Then we take the yellow, bring it down, maybe because it was more saturated. So if it goes more towards the edge, means it's more saturated. If it's more towards the center, means it is less saturated. Then we take the green, increase the saturation a little bit more. Take the cyan, increase the saturation more. Take the blue, just a wee bit. Take the magenta, and this is the one we gotta increase like crazy. All right, now see magenta is a little bit off and green is a little bit off. So what we're going to be doing is I'll go back here, I'll take the magenta, click on magenta, and I'll just offset just a wee bit so it's on the center. Yeah, just like that. Take the blue as well, and just take these sliders. Sliders over here, right here. Take the green. You can do it with the sliders as well, just like that. All right, what I'll do is I'll take the red as well, and I'll just rotate it over there. and take the saturation of red and bring the saturation just a wee bit down so that it's inside. Perfect. Now if you take a look, each of these colors are perfectly inside the box. Now we'll close out the vector scope. Now if you just see like the color chart, the masking, if I do before, it won't show like that. Okay, let me just take up the highlight then. All right. Now this is after, before, after, before, after, before, after, before, after. Now, the reason why it's not showing is probably because I need to turn off this window. There you go. Look at that. You can see a lot difference. Let me show you how. Let me take a look here. All right, let's go. All right, so this is after. Okay, take a look at these bokeh balls here, yeah? So this is after. Look at how it was before. Look at all the magenta. Remember how the saturation was so low? And now, when I'm like, this is before, you see how the magenta is more brighter, more elegant looking? Is because we have color corrected it properly. Look at how much color information we actually got. Same thing with the skin as well. If you take a look, this is after, this is before. See how much unnecessary redness was there? Now it is color corrected. It is properly color corrected. But still we have skin to do yet. If you take a look at the orange of this RIT, it's crazy. Okay, now we go to the skin. For the skin, let's go back to the marker. Go back to marker, and then the second row of this chart is, of this color checker, is basically the skin ranges, because we are all different shades of wheat, right? All right, turn on the highlights. Just making sure my mask is proper. All right, then we go back to the vector scope. And then basically what we do over here is I'm going to take the offset and just make sure it is exactly on this line. In case you do not see this line, you can go here and you can choose this show skin tone editor. So it'll show this indicator. If you show this line, it'll mean that it's exactly, that's where your skin tone is supposed to lie, regardless of your race and your skin texture. That's this where the hue is supposed to be. So okay, let me open it back up. Let me just do a little bit. Right there. All right, so I just put the offset to a little bit to make sure this is an exact line. Now, sometimes what happens is, in real life, sometimes your skin looks different, right? Sometimes if you have a pink undertone, you might be more pink. If it's like cold outside, you might have more pink undertone. So that depends on also your skin. So this will look accurate on paper, but also you need to make sure your skin looks good, because sometimes it might not be the case. So let's take a look and see whether it's okay for my skin. All right, so we have, let's take a look here. This is after, before, after. Yeah. So now I've added a little bit more redness because I was more accurate, because my skin I have a pink undertone. So there you go. Now this entire clip is color corrected properly, balanced, hues are on point, and now you're ready. After this node, you are ready to create all of your looks, your whatever you want. You want a teal and orange look, you want a bleach bypass look, whatever have you. Now let's do the final comparison. All right, so we just make this full screen. Now this one was a simple color space transform and a little bit lift gamma gain. This is the actual color corrected thing. This is CST, this is CC. Look at how unnecessary magenta it is. So if I take a look at the vector scope now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up. I want to do like a two-way up. I'm going to look at the waveforms, and I'll take this and I'll make it, remove the 2x zoom. All right, now, so this is the color checker one, and this one is, look at, so you see in the waveforms right here, you can see how there's unnecessary just stretching of the waveforms and unnecessary contrast, which I want to add that myself, you know. I don't want to add contrast by a CST and then decrease the contrast. So this is the unnecessary contrast. You can see even in the vector scope. Over here, the colors are properly balanced amongst all different hues. And over here, everything is just forced towards like the red and the yellow area. So now if I want a look, is now I can, you know, go here, I can then, like, you know, go to my curves, I could add a simple, you know, now I can add the contrast that I want, you know, now I can add that contrast if I want. And now if I want, I can make it, you know, a little bit more reddish if that's the look that I'm going for. Again, now I can do the proper color correction. So yeah, guys, that is how you color correct footage with your color checker chart. I will leave the link of the color checker chart in the link below in the description, but you can use this. You can tell your cinematographers, you can tell your DITs to, like, hey, make sure you use the color chart. So it just, like, what this does is it removes the entire guesswork. It removes the eyeballing thing. You are basically working with just scopes. You're working with just data, and there's no way you can make any mistake. It is exactly how it is supposed to be. It removes the ambiguity of, like, okay, maybe it is color corrected, maybe it is not. And then once it is, then you can grade, do whatever you want. Let's get it done.